Okay, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. Kind of a continuation of a video I made a few days ago, but on the other side of this. Interracial Simpin. I watched some of the comments that people were putting down and the interracial dating is competitive, is getting competitive video. And I read some of the comments of BGS reposting it. And it's some things that I just got to say, right? When it comes to dating somebody who's not in your ethnicity or race, some of y'all are simping. And I mean men and women, and I mean black and white and black and Hispanic and all these other things, right? And this is what I mean by that. Just watching, observing people and observing from afar. The arguments can be different with particular people, but people don't look at themselves as simping when they change races. And I find that odd. Like, some of us brothers can actually make the argument that other races of women seem to be more predisposed or raised to work work with men of their own race, and then it spills out into other races, right? And the complaint would be our women don't do that, or aren't raised to do that, or don't choose to actually work with their men, to actually be a teammate, right? Helpmate, whatever you want to call it. But you can also say, and I've seen this plenty of times, where guys look at a different group of women with googly eyes, like, they're just perfect because they're not black women. And then they let anything that they do slide, and it's not really that bad because they might have done some bad stuff, but at least they didn't do it the same way black women did it. So these guys will give other races of women a pass, right? So when you give these other races of women a pass because they're not quote unquote black women or don't have the ratchetness that some black women have, you simping, because respect should be something across the board that women should give you. Certain attributes and standards don't change when you change colors, and when you're willing to let certain things slide just because of a different color, that makes you an interracial simp. I see the sisters saying the same thing. Oh, the men aren't, how can I say this? Don't build, don't protect, and don't provide for us. But then, and we won't do this or that for you men. But then, right on the other hand, get all googly eyed with a non-black man who, in their own society, in their own culture of whatever ethnicity they are, it's built in that they're not gonna, if they with a woman of another race, especially a black woman, they're not gonna protect her. And they if they gotta provide for her, that's just because they chose her. But it's not like, but they don't have intentions of making children with you and a family with you, and integrating you with the community. No, so you really on your own when you're in this whole other enclave that you call peace, and you let all of these things slide because, truth be told, you just wanted to be with another race, and it makes you feel better because, just like you would complain about the men, you feel like you came up if you got somebody non-black. So you willing to put up with all kinds of stuff because you're a simp. Guys get mad. That's where the bed wench thing comes from. Is from simping. The sunken place male thing comes from simping. And then, let's go on the opposite end of that, right? you got non-black men who want black women, and in some ways, they're taking advantage of knowing that you're sent for them because they can give you um, table scraps when it comes to love, protection, provision, um, admiration, attention, because all you actually wanted was that non-black man. So, they're simping for their sexual fetishes because they know they can have their way with you sexually because the trade-off, you willing to give them anything. So now they're simps to their own hypersexuality because they'll do anything, or I shouldn't say anything, but they're willing to attempt to do anything because they know they can take advantage of your simping. That's why I see non-black men say some of the most egregious things to black women, and unfortunately, y'all sisters don't know. Y'all just go for it. Y'all just act like y'all ignore it and move on and do whatever these guys say. And, a lot of y'all don't have standards when it comes to this. And these people take advantage of you simping. Same thing happens with the men, right? You don't, you can wind up with a dusty non-black chick because you simping. You don't really have any standards because as long as she's not black, guess what? She's a 10. Why? Because she's not black. The reason is I bring this up is because one of my friends were talking to me about the NFL Network sex scandal thing, sexual harassment thing, and he told me that the white chick that complained on everybody, she was tough, she was good looking, she was bad, and I Googled the woman and looked at a picture and like, this what y'all risk y'all job for? Wow, y'all some suckers. And this girl ain't bad. I'm sorry. There's a whole lot of other women way finer than that that work on and off air that y'all should have been hollering at except for this busted chick. No offense, but I'm sorry, she's not whatever. She's not a 10. She's not a 7. She's not a, and I'm not one to judge looks, but she a long way from 10. That's what I'm gonna put it. But these guys are willing to simp, just like these ladies, these non-black ladies, they BBC simps. They'll do anything for a good orgasm. And they're willing to throw their whole community away for an orgasm, right? Because that's what they're looking at black men for primarily, is an orgasm. Let's just be honest. Same thing with these non-black guys. That's why I say they're into that sexual fetish. Their community will disown them, but they're willing to go through that because it fulfills their sexual needs, right? When you talk about somebody who's controlled by their sex organs, you got to include these non-black people dating black people. When it comes to the interracial dating scene. And I'm not talking about people who actually got a human connection. I'm talking about people who are having relationships because another race for them is a come up mentally and emotionally and socially and psychologically, right? Like, they're going to have issues because they're simping. And they don't want to say that they're simping, but you can look at their actions and tell. Because what they won't do for their own, they will do for the other. And the problem with that is, at the end of the day, is you can't complain about what your own didn't do for you, because because they did things for you, but you marginalized what your own did for you. And then you over exaggerated what the people you wanted actually did for you. When truth be told is you wanted to be on their team so bad that you threw reality out of the window. And you know, in some social aspect, having sex with somebody who's not of your same race or ethnicity is not an accomplishment. And that's why I say ultimately you got people interracial simping, because you slept with somebody who's non whatever you are, and now you're running around like you just conquered the world when in fact you just had sex with somebody who's just a different color. So now it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And the reason I say that is sometimes I see people looking back at it, because just like, like I said, it's getting competitive. I do still see people who feel like they cashed in too early, and they look around like, damn, I'm with this motherfucker. But I thought they was the best thing since sliced bread. Now I'm looking out, and I could have had all of that, but I chose this because, this didn't look like me. And, people do it all the time. It's one, and then it's, even with the treatment conversation, these people treat me better. That can be made an argument. And then sometimes you come to find out with some people, no, other people don't necessarily treat them better. It's just they're willing to accept the treatment they get from these other people because that's who they want to be with. So in some ways, people are interracially simping. And because I was initially talking about class and economics. So that's what the other video was about, class and economics. Really. Just I told a few stories in the middle, but women know where the money's going because women like the comforts of men. So that's the thing. And now with it being competitive, you're going to start seeing people simping extra hard because simping is a form of competition for some. So that's just my opinion. I'm out. Peace.